Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with today's trading action. All right, now there's plenty going on in the market, and the Don is delivering, right, by default, right? Sell America trade is in play. We saw a bunch of traders yesterday make some really good cash out of these opportunities. Now, I just left the trend lines where they are so you can sort of see what's going on. The euro shooting topside, the dollar index sort of mirror, like the opposite mirror image of the euro. Dollar Swiss, a lot of Swiss buying, bit of safe haven activity. The beast is oblivious to what's going on. There's a lot of pressure on Japan to raise rates again from the US. I don't know how that's going to play out. One of the key things here is, you know what? Dollar CAD has broken down through 138.50, right? So that's a decent move, and it coincides with these moves up in sterling, Aussie, and like a good lot of the traders yesterday were on the Kiwi trade, right? Very rare that the Kiwi leads the charge, but it was shooting topside. Now, what you would be doing is sort of looking for where the action is today, and coinciding with that, let me just come back to that and I'll show you the charts, because if we start to tidy up the charts now, you'll start to see that they have broken higher and they are performing quite well. So let's just come back to the main data. Okay, so just looking at yesterday's employment numbers, right? This will go some way to explaining that up-down price action in sterling. The actual number, 5.1, the unemployment rate, so slightly worse than the consensus, but they did have a much stronger employment change than the consensus, and the average earnings slightly 0.1% higher, right? So an up-down one. And if you've got any experience trading that release where you get an up-down move, it's problematic, right? And this is what you get. You get a seesaw, whipsaw both sides. It doesn't really go anywhere. But the underlying thing here is we've got Trump, whether he's making a fool of himself or not, trying to sort of take over Greenland and sort of basically, as all the media releases sort of say, he is trying to blackmail Europe into letting them have Greenland, right? So there's a lot of weird things. So if I just tidy up the charts, you can see here very clearly, right? We have got good trading conditions here on the euro. Broke through the first level of resistance, broke through the second level. You'd expect to test higher, come back and test. And this is where we'll see if this trade really has legs, because it should go higher from here, right? So that's euro and sterling. You come back to looking at the main UK inflation numbers today. You've got a bunch of these things, right? So the year-on-year number and the month-on-month is the ones we're looking for, 3.3%. Okay, so keep an eye on sterling. It's probably the major focus for the day, and I'd be looking for sterling and sterling crosses here on the live signals as well. Right, sterling's going up. We've got a buy zone. It does look very good, especially with the market focusing on that whole sell USA trade, right? It's just giving us some really good legs to work with. I'm just trying to update that chart there. Aussie and Kiwi, just update all your charts, find out where these sort of key levels are. Most of them have broken out yesterday. That doesn't mean there's follow-up opportunities, but you want to be sort of keeping a close eye on that. And with that, just keep an eye on sterling. It was a little bit of a mixed reaction after the mixed employment numbers. Room for it to go up, drift sideways or go down. So we'll see how that plays out. But stick with the sell dollar trade at the moment, right? This could be just the start, like the tip of the iceberg as far as everything goes. And if you're just looking at the equity markets, right? Nasdaq sort of breaking down. The S&P has broken down. Oil, it's drifting sideways, and you still got gold and silver, plenty of support there. It's going up. Bitcoin's just getting crunched, right? So as far as these safe havens go, it's a little bit of a mixed bag. The equity markets, well, and this is one of the key things. If you come back and look at the equity markets, they had a down day, right? But we had a risk on environment as far as euro, sterling, Aussie, Kiwi, and the US bonds are a little bit higher. So a little bit of discombobulation, but it's just about selling the dollar, right? The consequences for the US trying to take over Greenland is pretty huge. So keep an eye on that as you go through the course of the day. All right. UK employment numbers, the key to today's trading. If I just come back to the calendar, just give you a look at that. As I said, the year-on-year numbers Down here, okay, consensus 3.3, your range 3 to 3.5, and the month-on-month numbers, just as a bit of a backup, zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.6 and zero point 0.4 the consensus, right? So sterling, the focus, keep an eye on that. Sell dollars still looks to be in play. All right, guys, have a good one. All the best. Cheerio.